in my office here, my home office. It's not, you know, 100% finished, but it's a work in progress. You know, sometimes you gotta take things like in baby steps or whatever, one step at a time. There's nothing on the walls. Got some pictures that I want to hang up possibly, but still trying to figure it out. I want this space to be as functional as possible. Like, you know, I want it to look good, feel good, and obviously work good for not just myself, but for my wife and my kids too. You know, my daughter does her homework sometimes in here, and my wife does a lot of work in here, and then obviously I do as well. So, but anyway, there's really barely anything going on with lawn care for me. Just finishing up some shrub trimming jobs and just miscellaneous things like that. You know, I have a couple of properties that still have leaves that, you know, they have a couple of big pear trees in their front yard or wherever, or there's a lot of woods in their backyard that kind of blows the trees all around their property and surrounding properties, things like that. So, you know, whether I've blown the leaves back into the backyard or I'm mulching up the leaves in the front yard or whatever the situation is, I figure it out obviously for each yard, but I only got a couple of those yards, so it's not really anything to keep me too busy. You know, I just stop by every week and see how it's going. I don't have any, you know, fancy leaf removal equipment or anything like that. I just have the bare minimum because for me it's been, the focus has been lawn care, and that's going to continue to be the future of my business, meaning literally, you know, fertilizing, weed control, lawn mowing, aerating and seeding, dethatching, all turf care. You know, I know you can say, okay, you know, trimming shrubs and, you know, weeding mulch beds and cleaning up leaves in the fall. All those things can obviously be categorized as lawn care or turf care, but I specifically want to just focus on turf maintenance, literally just grass, everything that has to do with grass and grass only. Not saying that I won't still clean the leaves off of my customer's property, but what I am saying is that I made sure that my schedule is filled with clients that don't have a lot of trees around them that are going to drop a lot of leaves and need to be cleaned up. And the few that do, I just take care of it because there's far more other benefits to having that client than to just give them to someone else just because they have leaves that I don't want to deal with. So I have whatever setup I have to take care of those select issues, but normally, you know, it's not something that I want to focus on in my business. It's just like part of the thing. Same thing with trimming shrubs. I have some clients that I trim their shrubs, and I'm not going to just say, you know, I don't want to trim your shrubs anymore. Let me tell you someone else that can. And then they end up with like 2 or 3 or 4 different people coming to their house, you know, every week or whatever, doing all these different services when I could do the majority of them myself. You know, I am going to probably start subbing out mulch jobs just because that's not something that I really want to focus on anymore. I did it a lot because it generates money in the spring, and obviously is a good customer service thing for your clients because they don't have to find someone else to do it that could potentially take other services from you or offer additional services to them that you could have offered and so on. So that's just, you know, I don't want to say no, I'm not going to do it. I'd rather say, oh yeah, I can do it. I'm going to have, you know, a guy that I know, or I'm going to have this company that I work with come out and take care of it for you. Is that okay? And then, you know, hopefully everything will work out after like the initial, you know, time. Then they'll feel comfortable with it, and then it'll just become a regular thing instead of me spreading mulch by myself or with 1 or 2 guys that I hire, you know, once in a while just to spread 10 yards of mulch or something crazy. You know, the smaller jobs, I have some smaller properties, so I mean, if they just want some mulch in their front or whatever, you know, it's a couple yards of mulch, that's not a big deal. I could throw that in the back of my trailer and just spread it, you know, real quick and be done. But, you know, these 5 to 10 yard, you know, mulch jobs that I normally take on every year, it's just not something that I want my business to focus on anymore. You know, if all goes well, I'll be focusing on dethatching in the spring. Dethatching is renovating the turf and getting it, you know, nice and clean, you know, raking up all of the dethatch with some sort of power raking device, you know, which I'm working on all the details of that, and hopefully I'll get the right thing for my business so it'll be efficient and profitable, and not, and limiting the wear and tear on my body. So I want to definitely focus on that, so this way I can do that every spring, and that's where I'll be getting the money. And in addition to some of the shrubs that I'll be trimming for some of my select clients, but mainly I'll be getting early spring money from dethatching, and also from putting down, pre-emergent for weeds, and then going ahead and putting down fertilizer, and then going ahead and put weed control, and then more fertilizer towards the end of the summer into the fall. So it becomes like a full year thing just of that. And then you go into aerating and seeding in the fall, and all in between that you've got mowing. So that pretty much will keep me busy the whole year, except for like about 2 months maybe at the most, depending on the weather, in the heart of the winter, like, from December through January. Because I mean, I was still mowing lawns all the way through the end of November, which we typically do here in Virginia. Sometimes last year went into December because it was so warm, but that's unusual for this area. And then I usually start doing stuff in February. I start pruning stuff, trimming shrubs, pruning crepe myrtles. Again, not things that I want to promote, not things that I want to continue to be a big service for my business, but it's something that I will offer for my current clients and past clients that had me take care of their crepe myrtles and their shrubs. I don't want to just say no and have someone else come in. I mean, it's still money, but it's not something I'm going to advertise. The other things that I mentioned is where I'm going to advertise and market my business in that way, where I'm going to focus on dethatching in the spring, all the weed and fertilizer services throughout the year, mowing throughout the year, aerating and seeding in the fall. And those are the things that I'm going to hit hard and have a full turf care, turf renovating process. So yeah, so the point is, things are slowing down. I'm going to start changing gears on video content and switching over to different things that I'm going to be doing. So even though I don't have full-time lawn care, I still seem really busy trying to get stuff done, running around doing errands and stuff. But I definitely gotta never stops. Anyway, I definitely got to carve some time so that I can get some stuff done today. So I'm changing gears, switching from lawn care to my second business that I'm starting out this winter. And I really need to get some time so I can sit down and figure out some things and plan, strategize, and all that. I also I need to plan my schedule for this Friday. I'm going to be going out of town. I'm going to be meeting with Brad from Your Way Lawn Care. He's got a channel on YouTube. Check him out. Put the link in the description. We're going to get together, hopefully shoot some videos, but I also am trying to coordinate a meeting with a potential client of mine for my new business. So got to iron that stuff down and get all that finalized so that I can get going and be ready to go on Friday. But yeah, that's my life right now.